Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everybody. And today in my video I want to be talking about my view on aliens. Omar's view on aliens. So yes, I say aliens do exist and the Quran and the Bible proves this. And I'm gonna tell you why. Now, let me tell you my personal view about this. I've been studying history, mythology and religions for many years. Alright? So this is the red pill, blue pill moment for you guys, yeah? Aliens are real and you're a fucking arrogant idiot if you think they're not, alright? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I look here to the beautiful Holy Quran, it says, Allah is he who created 7 heavens and the earth is the like hereof. And among his signs in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and of whatever living creatures he has spread forth in both. So it is said that God created the heavens and the earth, and he spread forth in both creatures, and he can bring them together whenever he wants to, and maybe he already did. And God created beings which we know of and which we don't know of. I will put the references of the surahs and the Bible verses in the description. But this is just very plain and simple. For all those who don't understand what's being said here, it's very simple. God created more than one universe, created multiple worlds. And in these worlds, he created beings. We are not the only one. And these beings are beings we know of and which we don't know of. Yeah? It's very simple. It can't get any clearer. Yeah, all we need is the Quran. It's the only guidance we need. But if we go to, for example, the Bible, we get the story of, we get all kinds.
I looked, and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was that of a man. But each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings. Their legs were straight, their feet were like those of a calf and gleamed like burnished bronze. Under their wings on their 4 sides they had the hands of a man. All 4 of them had faces and wings, and their wings touched one another. Each one went straight ahead. They did not turn as they moved. Their faces looked like this. Each of the 4 had the face of a man, and on the right side each had the face of a lion, and on the left the face of an ox. Each also had the face of an eagle. Such were their faces. Their wings were spread out upward. Each had 2 wings, one touching the wing of another creature on either side, and the 2 wings covering its body. Each one went straight ahead. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go without turning as they went. The appearance of the living creatures was like burning coals of fire, or like torches. Fire moved back and forth among the creatures. It was bright, and lightning flashed out of it. The creatures sped back and forth like flashes of lightning. As I looked at the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces. This was the appearance and structure of the wheels. They sparkled like chrysolite, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any one of the 4 directions the creatures faced. The wheels did not turn about as the creatures went. Their rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes all around. When the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved, and when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Spread out above the heads of the living creatures was what looked like an expanse sparkling like ice, and awesome. Under the expanse their wings were stretched out one toward the other, and each had 2 wings covering its body. When the creatures moved, I heard the sound of their wings like the roar of rushing waters, like the voice of the Almighty, like the tumult of an army. When they stood still, they lowered their wings. Then there came a voice from above the expanse over their heads as they stood with lowered wings. Above the expanse over their heads was what looked like a throne of sapphire, and high above, on the throne, was a figure like that of a man. I saw that from what appeared to be his waist up, he looked like glowing metal, as if
about the book of Enoch. If we go back into the Hebrew translations, we see that there's multiple different words being used. We have the Rephaim, we have the Seraphim, we have the Elohim, and these are different names, different titles for different beings. Yeah, so it's very easy to say these are all the angels, but that's not true. That's definitely not true. If we go back in ancient history from the Sumerians and the Egyptians, definitely I suggest that there's evidence of a lot of extraterrestrial contact. I argue we're still in contact with... with these creatures, and I understand also this Project Bluebeam, all this bullshit. I've been researching every conspiracy theory you can think of. Believe me, I've read a lot of books and I've done a lot of research. I'm not somebody who's easily persuaded or whatever, how you call that in English, but I believe in aliens due to facts, due to research. Because if you put all these links together, it's very easy. If you understand, look, my worldview, my view of history is amazing. I have such an amazing belief of the world, of the cosmos, of Allah, of everything. And the world you guys are living in is such a small and tiny box. You're cubed. You're in this cube. Yeah, Saturn. Yeah. Here we also get the, for example, the crescent and the cross, or the crescent and the star symbol from old Sumeria. How can these people map out the entire solar system from the outside to the inside? Yeah.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yeah, they discredit people like Zecharia Sitchin, but why do they discredit these people? It's very simple, to hide the truth, and they hide the truth in plain sight. They make some stupid documentary from ancient aliens with some cuckoo fucking clown there, and nobody believe it anymore. It's very simple, but it is clearer than the light of day that we're not alone in this universe. It's very simple, but there is a difference, because it's all true. There are aliens, there are demons, and they're different. They're different beings. The archons, demons, jinn, the ghosts, they're different beings, and they're made of different kinds of materials. And that's also said in the Quran. For example, the jinn are made of fire, completely ethereal, let's say, from energy, from fire. And we have physical bodies. We are made from earth and clay, right? And blood. So, yes, there are aliens, and I'm going to show you some more things in this video coming up. So, bear with me, enjoy, and you know what it is. Alaykum assalam. So this is my first video about aliens. I have a full-time job. This is during the week. I promised a new video every day. So even if I made the promise to myself, I'm gonna try and keep it and give you a new video every day. I will be showing you some interesting footage of the German Glocke and some other stuff. In the end of the video, there is an interview with Credo Mutwa. He will be telling us about the alien origin stories of Africa, and also we will be having a look at the African nuclear power plants. But I'm gonna create a whole series, so hold your horses, hold on, and enjoy the video.
Take positions around this fat phallus and wait for my command to open fire.
Defensive run confirmed.
Let her rip.
So I will be making a whole series about aliens and demons, and right now I just want to get you a little bit excited about it. My personal opinion is that there are about 189 different kind of alien species that are currently in contact with various governments around the planet. Well, I do believe that there's also a project Bluebeam, yes, that the government is planning a fake alien invasion for some sort of reasons. I do also think that that whole plan is being sidestepped by the Agenda 2030 World War thingy. But well, yeah, this I think the aliens are real. I think there are many bases around. I think we've been in contact for many years, as it's also said in scripture. Allah can bring these creatures from the heavens and the earth together whenever He wants it. So who says it didn't happen before? Right. So in this series I want to be exploring this together with you and for myself. We're going to be discussing the scriptural evidence, we're going to be discussing historical evidence, the archaeology, etc. But essentially we also have a lot of evidence of worldwide global civilizations, and we're going to look at the breakthroughs of certain technologies, Nikolai Tesla for example, the Glocke, the Germans, and all these other kinds of stuff. So I hope you like that. I like it. If you do, like and subscribe to the video. Let me know. And if you want to discuss with me, I also want to create some kind of podcast or some kind of interview. If you have more knowledge about this, let me know. Send me an email, hook me up. Let's connect. Let's unite against genocide. You know what it is. Ma salama. Enjoy the interview with Credo Mutwa from Africa.
On the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro. This is the story, a story you find throughout Africa. There was once a time when the blue sky was invisible, when the whole world was covered with mist, when you could not see the sun as it is now. You only saw it as a splash of white light moving slowly across the sky. At that time, there was an eternal drizzle every day of the year. At that time, People could not see the stars. People only saw the trees growing, trees which were very, very big. There was no desert at that time, only jungle everywhere where you went. At that time, sir, people were what we call in Zulu, ngubili. A human being was both male and female in one body. And out of the sky, one day came terrible objects. They were like gigantic bows made of huge gleaming gold. They were shaped like bows without strings, and they were bigger than the biggest mountains. They came out of the sky bringing great noise, black smoke, and fire with them. And out of those huge objects came them. At that time, sir, human beings could not speak. We had no gift of language at that time. And people had, however, great mental power. A man would go into the bush and, using the power of his mind, actually call out an animal which he wanted to hunt and kill for his children. And the animal would appear and kneel down before the man, and the man would kill the animal and take it home. But when the Chitauri arrived in Africa, they told our people that they were gods and that they were going to give us human beings great gifts on one condition. We had to worship them and accept them as our creators. Some told our people that they were our elder brothers and that this earth had produced them generations ago. And they said they had come back to the green womb of their mother and that they were going to make us into gods. What they did, they created a very strange pair of caves in the land. They dug 2 caves. In one cave was a green light, in another cave was a red light. And they drove human beings into these caves. And each human being had to choose which cave the human being wanted to go into. And those who went into the green cave came out as women. And those who went into the red cave came out as men. And then the talkers, the Chitauri, told our people that now they were perfect. But the moment the first men saw the first women, a terrible row erupted. The women hated the men because they looked between their legs and they saw what they thought were snakes dangling between the legs of the men. And the men hated the women because they looked on their chests and they saw these big things. What they were, they did not know. And then the Chitauri laughed. It was to them a very, very big joke. And then the Chitauri said, if you serve us, you wretched little human beings, we are going to make you into gods. And the human beings agreed to serve the Chitauri. And the Chitauri gave human beings a second gift, the gift of language. People started talking with their tongues where they had talked with their minds before. And there was a big rubbish starting again, because this man did not know the language of that man. And when this man greeted that man, this man thought that he was being insulted, and so a lot of murder and culpable homicide started taking place all over the world. When our people were given language, they found to their horror that they had lost much of their mental powers. They had paid a terrible price. But the Chitauri were now the masters of human beings. They made them, the human beings, to go into holes in the ground and to mine metal, gold, copper, tin, all kinds of metal. The Chitauri forced our people to mine. And the people were very unhappy because they couldn't cope with the new sexual differences which were there now between men and women. And then from amongst the Chitauri came a very good female Chitauri. Her name was Mai Nzarantwari Samahongo. Mai Nzarantwari Samahongo was the senior wife of the terrible chief of the Chitauri, Umbaba Gorontwari Samahongo. She was sorry for human beings, this great reptile lady. She said to the poor people, "Ow, you are unhappy." And the people said, "Yes, great one. We go into the holes every day, we dig the stones and we bring it to the gods, but we are not happy." And Mai Nzarantwari scratched her scaly chin and began to think and to think. She was terribly ugly. Her eyes were awful, like lights in the darkness. But she had mercy in her heart. And she taught the men and the women how to make love. And she said, "Look, we divided you into males and females. Now this action is going to bring you together." But it did not, because anyone who receives a gift from the Ntwari, the children of the python, is always in trouble. What happened was that when one guy slept with his wife, he didn't find her much, so he went to steal another guy's wife, and there was a big remorse, as we say in Afrikaans, starting. So men started stealing each other's wives and each other's girlfriends, and women started stealing each other's husbands, and there was a big nonsense in the land. And King Umbaba, the terrible lord of the Ntwari, the reptile people, said, "Look what you've done, you stupid old woman. Now these people, they are making such a noise. Listen to all that screaming in the bush. They are busy making love there, and our gold is not being dug, and you are responsible for this." Nzarantwari thought and thought and thought and thought, and then she got a plan, and she said, "I will make them stop. When they make love to each other, the female is going to get pregnant. And when she is pregnant, the male is going to leave her alone, and that noise in the bush will not be so disturbing to you, my lord." And Umbaba said, "You had better. There is no production here." And so all the women in the world was pregnant, and Umbaba was furious with his wife. And so it went on and on until one day Nzarantwari activated a black hero called Mweru. And Mweru challenged the great chief of the serpent people to a fight. and he cut off the royal penis of the king of the snake people, and that caused a big war. Mweru ran away, but Umbaba, the terrible chief of the people, caught him and arrested him and brought him to his village. And there, the great chief Gorontwari Umbaba said, look, you cut off my thing, and I have replaced it with one made of gold, and I can't make love to my wife anymore. You think too much, you wretched little human being. Now, Umbaba had a terrible nail in one of his hands, a claw. And with this claw, he drove the claw into poor Mweru's nostril, making a terrible hole into his brain, and he started drinking Mweru's brain, and then he threw away the corpse. To this day, sir, we believe that the people, the Chitauri people, they eat human brains. And strangely enough, scientists have found skulls where the human brain has been removed and eaten by someone or something.
Well, the hearing you speak here, so many things come to mind. First of all, you're saying that telepathy was the key form of communication before the Chitahuli, the reptilians came.
Yes, sir.
And I guess it's like a muscle. When you use it, it gets more sensitive and more powerful. So the more you use your telepathy, the more powerful your mind got. And then when language came, it almost brought us into this three-dimensional world and disconnected us from that mind power that we had before.
Yes, sir.
And it's also interesting that the story that you talk about, the language being given, and then the different languages being given. Of course, that turns up in the Old Testament, in the Bible. It turns up in stories all over the world about the fact that we were divided by language, so we couldn't communicate. And as someone who publishes books, I know today how difficult it is to communicate through books when you've got endless different languages.